For anyone trying to live a spiritually aligned life while also doing wildly human things like forgetting to change your laundry or questioning every sign that the universe sends. Here, creativity isn't just art. It's how we heal. It's how we grow. It's how we stay grounded and we remember who the heck we are underneath all the noise and the labels. I'll share my experience as an artist, a mom, a Reiki practitioner, and a professional multitasker, along with the stories from others who have used creativity to realign with their higher self, sometimes in surprisingly hilarious ways. So, if you are ready to laugh, get inspired, and reconnect with the creatively aligned version of you, congratulations, you're in the right place. Hey friends, welcome back to Creatively Aligned, the podcast where we're normalizing spirituality, creativity, and being a little bit of a hot mess while trying to trust the universe. Today, we're going to talk about the spiritual side of everyday creativity. And I'm not asking you to burn sage or sleep with crystals the size of a toddler under your pillow. Unless you want to, I do. I encourage you to if you want to. Here's the thing. We've been conditioned to think creativity is something that you do. But spiritually, creativity is something you are constantly channeling. Even when you feel like a tired raccoon digging through the fridge at 11 p.m. because you need a snack. Let's jump into today's episode with a real life example because real life is the best kind of content, right? That's what we're all here for. We want to know how much everybody else is a hot mess, like in comparison to our life. And we all are, okay? So, here's a real life example. This is an example of when my guide showed up in the middle of a store. So the other day I went to the store, as one would do when you need toilet paper and or a break to escape your children that you're homeschooling or with every day. I'm walking around thinking I'm going in for one thing, and suddenly I just got this urge. You know, the one, that weird one, that little intuitive whisper that's like, hey, you should go check out all those candles over there. Of course, my logical brain is like, no, absolutely not. You don't need any more home decor. You don't need to look at what their furniture looks like, and you definitely don't need candles. You are here for essentials. You already have too much stuff at home anyway. But my soul, my higher self, my inner goddess, she was like, hey girl, follow the scent of your destiny. And so what I do, I went to the home decor and I ended up on the candle aisle. And there it was, a candle called Aligned. And I laughed out loud because of course, the universe sent me a candle for branding purposes. A candle that would totally just catch my attention right there in the moment. Now here's where the spiritual creativity comes in. I opened up that candle and I smelled it, and immediately my brain went to, this is what my next podcast episode's going to feel like. Not sound like, feel like. That moment wasn't about the candle. It was about my intuition throwing me a creative spark and a nudge. And that, my friends, is spiritual creativity right there in real time. And that happens to us so many times throughout the day, and a lot of times we breeze right over it and we don't always recognize it. So let's talk about how creativity equals channeling energy even when we're not realizing it happens. Creativity isn't just making things at all. It's actually also about receiving things. It's about receiving thoughts and ideas and visuals in our mind, and gut feelings and downloads while you're in the shower shampooing your hair and you can't write anything down, so you call your husband in and say, hey, I need to tell you this so I don't forget it because I can't write it right now. Don't act like you don't do that too. We all do that, right? Surely we all do that. Anyway, we like to think that we're making it up, but spiritually, you're just tuning in like a radio. Except instead of top 40 hits, you're just getting messages from your higher self, your intuition. And if you're like me, possibly your ancestors who are tired of you doubting yourself and delaying and coming up with every excuse and asking for another sign that maybe you didn't hear this right. Creativity is literally the language that your soul uses to talk to you. It is your true essence of being. It is your intuition, 100%. Let's talk about the myth. The myth that I'm not spiritual enough for that. I don't hear, I can't receive, I am not tapped in, I am not woo enough. Yes, you are. Yes, you are. If you have ever felt a pull to do something without knowing why, you are. If you have gotten a sudden solution while driving to a problem or an argument or a way, you are. If you have rearranged your furniture at 1 a.m. because the room just felt off, you're spiritual, my friend. You're tapped into energy. If you had a dream that basically smacked you upside the head, it felt real, it gave you a message, it left you feeling like, ooh, I feel like I've just been called out, you're spiritual. Or, like I said earlier, if you stood in the shower thinking that you just discovered the meaning of life or some great awakening of some sorts in your life, congratulations. You are totally a spiritually creative being. Even if you also lose your car keys 3 times a week and walk around with your phone in your pocket, asking your kids where your phone is, can they call your phone? You can't find it, but it's really in your pocket like me. Here's the real spiritual magic behind creativity. Creativity is how your soul expresses its truth. You don't think your truth, you feel it, and then it becomes an expression. Creativity is also your intuition in motion. When you follow a creative nudge, you are following your intuitive path. When you follow the nudge to take a left and stop at Whole Foods on your way home instead of going your normal route, and when you're in Whole Foods, you run into somebody that you hadn't seen in a while and then you end up making a connection, you followed your intuition. You followed your nudge. And it set you on the path that you needed to be right then. That's creativity. Creativity raises your frequency. Have you ever noticed how doing something creative makes you feel lighter or clearer or more alive or feels more fun? It just feels like more you? Yeah, that's alignment. Creativity can also help you unbecome everything the world tried to shape you into. We had a podcast episode that was right before this one, and we talked all about that. If you haven't listened to it, I highly encourage you to go back and listen to the one about labels and unbecoming. Spiritually, creativity is the great unconditioning. It is the return to sender label. It helps you return to your actual self and not the roles and the labels or the expectations that everyone gave you. You have to open up and utilize your creativity to become the highest version of yourself. Here's a real life application. Let's say you're making dinner. You could follow the recipe just like a robot. And honestly, we all do that sometimes. Or you could listen to the nudge that says, just go ahead and add the lemon. Just go ahead and add a little bit of garlic in. You know what, just go ahead and add some peanut butter chocolate chips to the regular chocolate chips. Just trust me. Just go ahead and do it. Boom. There's your spiritual creativity right there. Or let's say you're reorganizing your closet because, just closets get right? That's spiritual. You're clearing space physically because you feel called to clear space emotionally. Every year at the beginning of the year, everybody goes through this purge. Out with the old, in with the new. Get rid of that furniture, get rid of that stuff. We don't need it. Out with the old, out with the old. That is clearing space to receive. That is creativity. That is spiritually aligning energetically, creating space, getting rid of that is no longer serving to make space and room for the new. You don't see the new yet. It's not here yet. You don't know exactly what it is yet, but energetically, you are creatively following your intuition and taking initiative to make space for what is coming to you this new year. That is creativity. Creativity is literally just baked into everything that we do all day, every day. You're just not calling it creativity because we've been trained to think that that is bright colors and paint and scissors. And it absolutely is not. Creativity is spiritual alignment that is just disguised as everyday decisions. Can you imagine if we all stopped calling everyday decisions what they were and just called them creativity? People would be like thrown for a huge loop if we just started calling like the decisions that we make, oh, I'm just being creative right now. And I totally challenge you to do that. When you make a decision or when you problem solve, go ahead and tell yourself, I'm just being a little creative right now. Like, that is how we're going to reset the tone. Okay, pause for a second and ask yourself, what creative nudge have I been ignoring lately? Don't think about it. Don't judge whatever comes up. Just let it float up. What creative nudge have I been ignoring lately? Whatever popped into your mind, that's the one. That's your soul trying to co-create with you. That's where you need to focus. Remember, you are more intuitive, more imaginative, and more spiritually connected than you ever give yourself credit for. Creativity isn't something that you just visit once in a while. It's something that visits you constantly, even if you're in the middle of the store, or in the shower, or in the car, or in the quiet moment when your soul gets a chance to just whisper. So remember, friends, you are wildly creative every single day. Okay, friends, thanks for hanging out with me today. I hope something in this episode sparked a little bit of creativity, clarity, or maybe an oh wow, same kind of moment for you. If you loved this conversation, go ahead and follow the show so you don't miss future episodes. Because let's be real, life gets busy and our higher selves appreciate reminders. And if you feel called, share this with a friend who's also on there trying to be spiritually aligned while still being a whole human journey. We're all figuring this out together. So until next time, stay grounded, stay creative, and stay a little bit magical. See you in the next episode.